Schedule builders, the purpose of this video is to discuss course groups in PowerSchool. And this is going to be primarily at this point for the middle schools. Potentially this could be for the high schools if you decide you want to set this up after we use Jordan's system to catch some stragglers for enrollment. But in general, this is primarily going to be for middle school teams as they continue to use PowerSchool to collect course requests. So first of all, we're going to log in. We're going to go to PowerScheduler. And when we're in PowerScheduler, we want to start setting up what our course groups are. So I'm going to click on Course Groups, and we are going to see that we have a long list of course groups here. Okay, we have the option, and I'm at Liberty Middle for this example, but we have the option when we set up course groups to set up course groups for our own school or to set up course groups that are available to everyone in the district. Okay, so a couple things I want to bring up with that. If we set it up for all buildings in the district, you can see that there are a lot of course groups. That's not that big of a deal. You can share the work in managing these course groups if you share them. So any given year, South Valley Middle can take the 6th grade math classes, and Heritage Middle can take the 6th grade English classes, and Liberty Middle can take the other core, and it's so on. So you could split up the work. The kicker there is any change anybody makes to that affects everybody's course group enrollments. Okay, so you'd have to decide, do you want to do the district ones or do you want to set up your own? Up to you. If you set up your own, it's going to be available to view in your course groups list. It will not be available in other people's course group lists. I do want to point this out to the middle school teams. We can see here that we've got MS 6th grade ELA 1920. The 1920 is unnecessary, right? When you do that, and we've got a math and a math 1920, when you do this, this is guaranteeing you're going to have to go back to your screen setup later and adjust what course groups are available under those screen setups. If it's me, I would say you should have MS 6th grade ELA. Make it no numbers. That's the name of that's the name of that course group. Add to that course group, take away from that course group as courses change in any given year. This doesn't affect any previous years, right? So you make your changes, and then when you go to your screen setup and you say, well, this is where we're going to pick our math classes, and you've got it set to hit MS 6th grade math, it's going to have the courses that you just adjusted. When you change the year on it, the screen setup doesn't know what that is, and you have to then go set that up. We'll talk about screen setup in another video, but this is, you can make a more generic heading, and this is where you're going to do middle school 6th grade math this year, and it'll only affect this year. Next year when we're doing it again, you can come upgrade 6th grade math, and it will be upgrading it on your screen setup without you doing any other work. So that's my recommendation. I can see somebody's already changed all these to 1920. It's going to be an issue for some of you if you're using them. We'll look at that when we do the screen setup video. But if I want to make a new course group, I scroll up and I just hit new. I give it some kind of a name. You could do both or scheduling only. I do scheduling only. You can set up whether it applies to Liberty Middle School only or all schools. You give it a name, middle school ELA, and then I would have to come in here and I would have to start finding the ELA classes that are appropriate that I want to select, that are gonna be the list of courses. I'm not going to actually make it. Then once you have all the ones you want, you would click submit, and that would be a new course group. Not going to make a new course group. If you want to edit a course group, so going back to, if we look at MS 6th grade ELA 1920, if I just had this as MS 6th grade ELA, I could come in here and say, yep, that's still a class I want. ELA 6 is still a class I want. Those are the only two classes. Submit. Let's say there's a third class we added that was super duper advanced, ELA 6. click on that box, hit submit, you would have updated your course group. Again, I'm not going to make any changes here, but that's how you can just click on it, edit it, go down and hit submit. And then, like I said, on availability, applies to is how you see the availability. If it applies to all schools, every school will see it. If it applies to Liberty Middle School only Liberty Middle School will see it. You want to use caution. You don't want to change a current district only or all schools course group that everybody's using and go change it to be just your school, because then it will disappear from them. So you want to use that cautiously. But that is course groups. How to make them, you can see them all over here. If I want to delete a course group, if I click on it, scroll down to the bottom, there's delete right there. If you hit delete it, it asks you to verify. But that is course group, a quick tutorial on course groups. I recommend you talk to each other. You try in middle school, you try and literally get rid of those 1920s, because they literally, maybe a month ago, they said 1819. And if we go, I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm gonna go to PowerScheduler and go to screen setup. And if I look at grade 6 and I look at 6th grade ELA, this is what I'm talking about. 6th grade ELA at Liberty Middle is pointing to middle school 6th grade ELA 1819. It's pointing to that course group. Well, that course group doesn't exist anymore because someone changed it to 1920. So over here in the screen setup, if I click on 6th grade again and I click on this 6th grade ELA, let me move my face over here again. If I click on 6th grade ELA and I scroll right here, list of valid courses, this is where the course group goes. It was pointed at this, but it's not there. So if we preview the screen for a 6th grader and I click on 6th grade ELA, there's nothing there because the name of your course group changed. If you leave it generic, you don't have to touch this. But since we're changing the title over and over again, you're going to have to come and touch at the building. You're going to have to touch each one of these for every grade level to get rid of the 1819 and pick the 1920, unless you go to generic, set it this one time, then you're done. Okay, long video. We'll do screen setup next.